Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. I told her I was done. Rant. Wife and I have been married for 7 years. She works overnight and goes to school. Around Christmas she started acting really protective of her phone. I checked her phone records and she had been talking with someone from work every day for a couple hours. I confronted her, she denied it. I told her we'd look at the phone records. She denied it. I started to open our cell service site and she broke down and told me she was lying to me, but maintained they were just friends. Later that week I got access to her phone. Risque pictures. Telling the other guy she added him on Snapchat and that she was getting a new phone with facial recognition. I confronted her, without telling her everything I found. She fed me some stories about some other guy, not guy from work, and how she was confused and had feelings for him but didn't know what to do. She swore it wasn't physical, she hadn't even kissed him. I let it go. I was a wreck. I started therapy for myself. I took a sabbatical at work to spend more time with our 3 kids and to try to get myself in a healthier place. I started working out and going to the gym. I kept seeing signs. We stopped having sex. She made me feel like I was the one responsible for that, too. Even though she wasn't punishing me. She was still cagey with her phone. She was always on social media right before bed or early in the morning. I always got the feeling she was saying good morning or good night to someone else. I put a GPS tracker on our car and immediately saw she wasn't where she said she was when she said she was. Stopping for breakfast or in random parking lots on the way home from work. Finally, when I saw she was at her co-worker's house when she said she was at work, I drove over and confronted her. She fed me another story about how she was over there planning a surprise gift for me. Made me feel bad for being the one tracking where she was going. I checked her search history. 2 months after we stopped having sex, she was doing searches trying to find out why her privates were irritated after sex. But it was a problem we had in the past. I talked myself into thinking maybe she was just still trying to figure it out. I caught her lying about being at work again when she was off the schedule. She denied it. I thought maybe I was mistaken. I let it go. Yesterday I finally checked her credit card statement, the only card I don't usually have access to. 2 weeks ago she charged a hotel room to her card while she was supposed to be at work. I drove to her work to drop something off that she needed, something she asked me to bring her, and told her I was done with the lies and I wanted a divorce. She tried to make me feel like I was the bad one for telling her that while she was in the middle of the workday, and walked off. She called me later and tried to make me talk about it. Called me mean over and over. Said I was the crazy girl in the relationship. Tried to switch the blame to me, saying I didn't want her to have a job, that I wanted to know where she was 24/7. I told her it had nothing to do with the job, and everything to do with the fact that I couldn't trust her. And I hung up. She called again this morning, acted like it was a normal check-in call before she went to school. She said she loved me before she hung up. I don't care. I'm done. Wow. That's a special kind of messed up. The gaslighting is strong in this one. It is. And I put up with it. Even though I knew she was. Even though I told her she was gaslighting me when she was doing it, she still managed to make me feel bad, make me feel responsible for past mistakes that supposedly led to this. But this is her choice, not mine. I'm just the one who finally called it. Please stick to your guns, and if she tries to beg you or love bomb you, don't fall for her trap. She probably caught something by sleeping with the co-worker, so don't sleep or even kiss her. Remember, if she really was unhappy she could have filed for divorce, then had anyone she wanted. She chose to be sneaky and make your life miserable instead by being a cake eater and gaslighting you. Good on you. It's so hard to not believe someone we trust and love. You're free now, no more apologizing for reality or propping up hers. Actions not words is so hard to believe when you're under their spell. She fed me another story about how she was over there planning a surprise gift for me. Made me feel bad for being the one tracking where she was going. The duck man? After all the evidence you already had? It's not I don't trust you anymore, it's you're getting blisters on your twat ducking another guy under my nose. This is textbook cheater behavior right down to the gaslighting. There is nothing good that will come out of being with someone so shady and deceptive. I am sorry, but you made the only reasonable choice that she left you with. This was entirely on her. Reach out for advice and feel free to rant when you need to. You are among good people that unfortunately have been right where you are now. Go no contact as much as possible and get an attorney. We're still living under the same roof, until we figure out how to split. Luckily she's only home like 2 days a week at this point, and most of that time she's asleep. I don't want a messy fight. I just want to be done. Under any other circumstance I'd be way more worried about protecting my assets and my relationship with my kids, but I have some serious dirt on her that would end hers and the suspected other person's career, and she knows it. Blow it all up as soon as you are done. Is AP married? Yes, I'm not blowing up her career. My state calculates child support based off of the difference in income level. But I will blow his marriage out of the water, too. I don't know if he's actually the one, but I have enough evidence that if I send it to his wife she'll be able to figure out if it's him or not. Be careful with this, because if his wife goes nuclear the both could be fired. Child support is one thing, but spousal support is a kick in the back after the fact. Oh, remember the lingerie and hotel room are marital assets used for the affair. Some states consider infidelity to be a disqualifier for spousal support. The OP should check and see if that applies in his state. Not so for child support, of course. Spousal support isn't an issue in my state. She earns enough to support herself, and would have to prove otherwise for the court to order it. My ex tried to get spousal support and the mediator said that there's not a judge in LA County that would sign off on that. XW had a spotless work record and made good money. Finally, a real man with some balls on one of these threads. You ate someone to whom most me can aspire to become. The great thing is, I can just send her the screenshots and be like, is this your husband? If not, no harm done. If it is, it's her problem. 2 days a week? Is she not caring for your children anymore? Document all of that. Her schedule works out that way. It's not by choice, except for the fact that she picked the career. Other than the couple of days I've identified she wasn't at work when she said she was, she's at home when she can be. True. How she acts reparenting duties is far more relevant in no-fault states than whether or not she cheated. However, that said, do keep track of her spending money on AP, because if she can afford to do that she can afford to have that much less child support from you. I am including a link with some information you may find useful. Having to live under the same roof is rough. I urge you to get legal advice from a professional in your state and follow it to the letter. If infidelity is not a factor in divorces in your state, then there is no need to keep playing Sherlock Holmes, because that is only pain shopping at that point. The important thing is you and the kids. Do not fall into the mindset of staying together for the kids. Protect your assets anyways. Today, I have very little doubts that she'll empty bank accounts, run up credit card debts and transfer assets into her name or someone else's name if she has the ability to or a power of attorney. Is the other person married, and if so, have you told the spouse? Not yet, and I won't until things are final on my end. If I go meddling too early I lose my leverage and this could get messy. I don't want a messy fight. I just want to be done. She sensed that, which gave her the audacity to turn the blame onto you and become confrontational. Get a lawyer and fight for every penny and every pillow in the house. I'd say you should be. It doesn't sound like she is capable of telling the truth. It sucks, but your future will be much brighter without her. Thank you for the encouragement. Yep. Cheaters are also cowards and they lie, minimize, and blame shift. Reconciliation is rarely worth trying. The sad thing is I can see what it's doing to her. She wasn't this person before. It's tearing her apart, too. But that's not my responsibility. I would be willing to do almost anything to help, if she'd just be honest. But she just can't tell the truth. One other thing. Do not worry about how her behavior is tearing her apart. She has not told the truth and made decisions as an adult to do these things at your expense. She is no longer the person you used to know, and you should never set yourself on fire to warm others. It isn't about you, it is about them. People that cheat are only displaying their nature. It is who they are. Expecting a cheater to suddenly become a different creature is like expecting a cat to become a dog. It doesn't matter how much love, compassion, and time you share with the cat. It is never going to bark. Why would you want to dedicate your life to a man or woman that has already told you who they are? Do you enjoy pain? It isn't about how much you cared for her. It is about how little she cared for you. She didn't. She made deliberate decisions to step outside of your relationship. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't an accident. It was a series of calculated actions that led her from being a faithful partner to a cheating partner. You know now what you mean to her and what she is capable of doing to you. Sorry to hear that you are faced with this situation. Trust is like a priceless vase. You each get to carry it. One day, one of you drops the vase and it shatters into 1,000 pieces. You can spend time and love to put it back together, but the cracks will always be there. They will always be visible, and you will both remember how the vase was broken. That doesn't go away. That thing that used to be priceless, now has very little value. Can the trust be repaired? Not very likely. People can forget what others have done to them, but you can never forget how they made you feel. Finally, when I saw she was at her co-worker's house when she said she was at work, I drove over and confronted her. She fed me another story about how she was over there planning a surprise gift for me. Made me feel bad for being the one tracking where she was going. How did she pull that off? Doesn't matter, you are out now and that's what's important. Keep working on yourself and your kids. You gave her many chances to come out of the fog. Every time she got away with it, instead of taking it as a wake-up call that she was destroying her marriage, she just got emboldened. Do not let yourself fooled again by her. The co-worker has a side gig where he makes things. She had given me some of his work before as a gift. It was a somewhat reasonable explanation. I figured if she was lying she'd screw up again anyway. But that was about the time I started to realize we were done. I just get hopeful, I guess. She said she was at work. I drove over and confronted her. She fed me another story about how she was over there planning a surprise gift for me. Made me feel bad for being the one tracking where she was going. You need to talk to someone about why you would ignore something as obvious as this and accept it as the truth. Over and over again you ignored all the signs. That's not healthy, and you really need to understand why you would do that so you don't repeat it again in the future. Good luck, my friend. Thanks. I'll admit I ignored it, but didn't necessarily accept it as the truth. I have a therapist. The only reason I considered it a possibility that she was telling the truth was that this coworker has a side business where he makes things, once of which she's given me as a gift prior to all this happening. I'll admit I ignored it, but didn't necessarily accept it as the truth. You aren't the only one. I did the same thing, which is why I suggest talking to someone. My ex-wife strung me along for a long time and I let her. It took me a while in therapy to figure out why I did it. I've since remarried and just hit my 7-year anniversary. Did you confront her about the hotel room? Not yet. Our last conversation I kept pressing her that she was the one that needed to come clean if she cared about me trusting her ever again. She didn't say anything. But from what I said, she should know I know. Some of these are applicable in your situation. I thought of this post for you. Things I would say to someone who has just discovered betrayal. Please feel free to add to this list. It's not your fault, you didn't cause it, and you couldn't stop it. As long as your WS blames you, then reconciliation is off the table. There is no point in working with them if they don't accept full responsibility. Your partner is mentally unwell, and this behavior was already in them when you met, waiting to be triggered. You are not a fool for falling in love with them, they are a fool for not appreciating the gift of love. The cheating had nothing to do with the state of your relationship. Any relationship problems are a comorbidity, not a cause. I can show you 100 examples of relationships that have way bigger problems, where no one cheats. You are going to suffer from betrayal trauma and PTSD. If there was lying, gaslighting, verbal abuse, or substance abuse, you get the gift of complex PTSD. Learn about it and get yourself some help. Watch this video. If you are married, take off your rings and hand them back to your partner. They broke the marriage. If they truly want to keep the marriage, the first step toward you even considering putting the ring on again is total disclosure. If your partner is still blaming you, getting defensive, angry when you ask for details, they are not safe. Don't do the hysterical bonding or pick-me dance. If your partner is a sex addict, this is like handing them more drugs. Beware of bad therapists and therapists who are easily charmed by your partner. They will cause you more trauma and injury. Infidelity is not falling in love with them, or out of love with you. It is a way to run away from a broken version of self. Blaming love/loss of love is a way your spouse will try to deny looking at whatever part of themselves they loathe and won't confront. You may know immediately that this relationship is over, and that is okay. You may want to wait/see/give recovery a try. Remember that in early relationship recovery, your choice not to leave, right now, is not the same as choosing to stay, forever. Make sure your wayward partner understands that too. You can change your mind if you feel you cannot regain a sense of safety, trust, or love has disappeared completely. If you choose to end reconciliation at any point, the failure is not yours. It started with their betrayal. If you are a woman betrayed, this is a good resource, https://bloomforwomen.com/. If you were blindsided by this betrayal, stay away from recovery models based on AA, and the codependency model, they will further traumatize you. Find some betrayal trauma therapy, https://helpingcoupleshield.com/. Thank you. I feel like I need to read this daily. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.